The other day I was sitting in my garden here in beautiful Santa Barbara, watching the hummingbirds buzz around my fuchsias, and a thought just washed over me. We spend so much time tending to our gardens, our homes, our finances, making sure everything is in order as we move into these golden years. But what about nurturing that deep human connection that thrives on more than just conversation? What about that spark? That special warmth that is supposed to be gracefully packed away like old photo albums once we hit 10, 70, or even 80. I think we've been sold a quiet myth. But what if letting that fire go out isn't a natural part of aging, but a secret thief that steals our vitality, our joy, and even years from our life? I've seen it in my friends, and I felt it myself. It starts subtly. You wake up feeling a bit more sluggish than usual. Your joints feel creaky, not from a long walk, but from a night of stillness. Your heart flutters uncomfortably after climbing the stairs. You misplace your keys more often. At first, you just shrug and say, well, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. But then the emotional shift begins. A creeping sense of loneliness, even when you're not alone. A feeling of being disconnected, of becoming irrelevant. This isn't just aging, my friends. This is the quiet, insidious toll of a life starved of physical and emotional closeness. Let's talk about the heart, not just the romantic, poetic heart, but the incredible life-sustaining muscle beating in your chest. We're told to protect it with diet and medication. But what if one of its most essential nutrients is love itself, expressed through physical touch? That regular, cherished physical closeness is a powerful, natural balm for our cardiovascular system. It's like the most enjoyable cardio workout you could imagine, one that gets your blood flowing, helps lower your blood pressure, and keeps your arteries flexible. Medical studies are now catching up to what our bodies have always known. Older adults who maintain an active, close bond often have far fewer complications from heart disease. And the secret ingredient isn't about frequency or Olympic-level performance. It's about consistency and, most importantly, the emotional connection you share. When that warmth fades, our hearts lose one of their most natural sources of strength. They become more vulnerable to the ravages of stress and inflammation. Neglecting this part of your well-being is like skipping your daily heart medication, or deciding walks are no longer necessary. It's a quiet neglect with profound consequences. By the way, I love knowing who I'm talking to. It makes this feel so much more like a real conversation. Do me a favor and drop your name and the city you're tuning in from in the comments below. Are you in sunny Scottsdale, Arizona, or maybe enjoying the crisp air in Burlington, Vermont? Let me know. It's wonderful to build this little community together. Now, while the heart is crucial, it's not the only part of us that suffers in silence. What if I told you that stepping away from this closeness can physically aid your body in ways you'd never expect? We often think about staying fit through yoga classes or long hikes on the beach. But one of the most overlooked secrets to maintaining muscle tone and joint flexibility is found within our most trusted relationships. The physical expression of that bond is a beautiful, holistic form of movement. It naturally engages a whole symphony of muscles from your core to your limbs. It enhances your balance, improves your coordination, and does it all in a way that feels joyful, not like a chore. When that regular, warm activity ceases, our muscles can begin a slow, silent retreat. Our joints lose their happy fluidity, and our overall mobility declines. It's a sneaky process you don't notice overnight, but over time, your body responds to this lack of stimulation with diminished strength and a higher risk of injury. And it's not just physical. That confidence that comes from feeling strong and capable in your own skin, a lot of that is nurtured by regular physical activity, including the private, wonderful activity between partners. Losing that can start a vicious cycle, leading to a more sedentary life that becomes harder and harder to break out of. It's astonishing, isn't it? How we can talk so openly about diet and exercise, but the moment the conversation turns to this deep affection, a veil of silence falls. But the truth is, the connection between this profound physical bond and our overall health is undeniable. And it goes even deeper than our muscles and hearts. Its influence travels all the way up to the most complex and mysterious part of us, our mind. Most of us have no idea that our sexual activity, or lack thereof, is deeply intertwined with the health of our minds. Think about it. During moments of intimacy, our brain is flooded with a beautiful cocktail of neurochemicals. Dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins. These aren't just feel-good hormones. They are powerful agents that improve our mood, dissolve stress, and, get this, actually strengthen our memory and cognitive functions. For those of us navigating our later years, keeping our minds sharp is a top priority. And here is nature, offering us one of its most delightful and effective tools for brain health. When sexual activity stops, the brain is deprived of this regular, stimulating bath of beneficial chemistry. Over time, this can lead to a noticeable increase in anxiety or a dip into depressive feelings. It can even contribute to a premature decline in our cognitive sharpness. The emotional connection and physical touch involved in intimacy keep our neural pathways firing and flexible, helping our brains stay resilient and engaged. Just like a muscle, the brain thrives on stimulation. Intimacy is one of the most profound and pleasurable forms of that stimulation. To neglect this part of our lives isn't just a loss for our bodies. It's a way of slowly dimming the very light of our minds, the spark that makes us feel fully vibrantly alive. But beyond memory lapses or mood swings, there's an even more profound threat that looms when we let physical intimacy fade. It's the erosion of the very bedrock of a long-term partnership, deep emotional connection, and genuine understanding. This loss can have devastating, as the emotional closeness that becomes so precious with age begins to wither on the vine. Without physical touch, that bond can quietly, almost imperceptibly, unravel. Sex is so much more than a physical act. It is a language of affection, trust, and vulnerability spoken without words. When that conversation ceases, partners can start to feel more like roommates than soulmates. The easy laughter, the shared glances, the tender gestures, they become fewer and farther between. The spark that once made you feel seen, desired, and deeply loved can slowly burn out. For so many older adults, this void creates a profound loneliness, even when sleeping next to someone every night. And loneliness isn't just a feeling. It's a health crisis linked to everything from depression and high blood pressure to a weakened immune system. Emotional intimacy blossoms through the small things: a touch on the arm, holding hands, a lingering gaze. Sex is one of the most powerful amplifiers of that feeling of union. To give it up is to cut one of the strongest emotional anchors in your relationship. And sadly, many of us only realize how much we've lost when the distance between us has already grown cold and vast. What if I told you that reigniting that intimacy could be the key to something we all crave more of as we get older? I'm talking about deep, restorative, peaceful sleep, the kind you thought was a thing of the past. The revelation that follows might not just surprise you, it could completely transform your nights. In our later years, the bedroom can often feel like a battlefield where we fight a losing war against insomnia. But we often overlook the profound connection between our sleep quality and our sexual activity. After the release of orgasm, our bodies naturally produce prolactin, a hormone known for its deeply relaxing properties that makes it easier to drift off. At the same time, that wonderful cuddle hormone, oxytocin, is released, washing away the stress and anxiety that are the archenemies of a good night's rest. While so many of us reach for a pill to find sleep, the solution might be far more natural and infinitely more pleasant. When intimacy fades, so do these beneficial chemical reactions, leaving our bodies tense and our minds racing. If you spend hours tossing and turning, or wake up feeling like you haven't slept at all, it might just be a lack of connection and physical closeness that's the missing piece of the puzzle. And it's not just about getting more sleep, it's about the quality. Restorative sleep is essential for memory consolidation, mood regulation, and overall health. So, a decline in sexual activity doesn't just affect your nights, it can cast a long shadow over your entire life. But the real struggle, the one that can truly break your spirit, often lies in a much deeper place. When physical intimacy disappears, it takes something even more precious with it: our self-confidence, our positive self-image, our belief in our own vibrancy and allure. What happens next can fundamentally change how you see yourself in the world. Our sense of self is a delicate thing, isn't it? And while the years certainly leave their marks on our bodies, nothing erodes our confidence quite as quietly and completely as the absence of physical affection. When you are no longer touched, no longer desired, no longer seen in that special, intimate way, you can begin to feel invisible. You start to believe the destructive myth that your best years are behind you, that desire and passion are reserved for the young. But that is just a story, and it's a false one. Physical intimacy is a powerful emotional mirror. It reflects back to you that you are valuable, that you are alive, that you are still capable of giving and receiving profound love. When that mirror goes dark, self-doubt creeps in. You might start avoiding your reflection in the mirror, pulling away from your partner not out of anger, but out of a secret feeling of being unwanted. Intimacy, even in its gentlest forms, is a constant, beautiful reminder that you are here, you are beautiful, and you are deeply connected. Reclaiming that vital part of your life can restore your confidence in a way that radiates through everything you do, from the way you hold your shoulders to the light that returns to your eyes. And while bruised self-esteem can cast a shadow over your emotional world, the loss of intimacy can inflict an even deeper, more physical blow by silently dismantling your body's natural defenses. The consequences here can be startling as it directly impacts your immune system. In our quest to stay healthy, we focus on vitamin C, flu shots, and washing our hands, but very few of us realize that our sex lives play a crucial role in keeping our immune systems robust, especially as we age. It's not just a feel-good theory, it's science. Studies have shown that regular sexual activity boosts the body's levels of immunoglobulin, IgA, a critical antibody that acts as our first line of defense against colds, the flu, and other common infections. Intimacy also helps balance our hormones and reduce inflammation, keeping our bodies in a state of healthy equilibrium. When the hormonal and neurological benefits of intimacy disappear, our immune system can become sluggish. It has a harder time fighting off everyday viruses, and it takes longer to recover when we do get sick. This isn't a sudden collapse, it's a slow, subtle decline that often goes unnoticed. You just find yourself catching more colds than you used to, or you feel a nagging, unexplained fatigue that you can't seem to shake. Restoring a healthy, loving sex life isn't just a boost for your mood. It's a way of strengthening your body's natural armor from the inside out. It is truly one of the most enjoyable forms of preventative medicine you can practice. But it would be a mistake to think the damage stops with a weakened immune system. There's another equally significant consequence that targets the very core of how our bodies regulate stress. To ignore this aspect would be to miss a huge piece of the puzzle. I'm talking about a rising tide of stress and anxiety. As we get older, the sources of our stress may change, but its destructive power over our minds and bodies only grows. We often underestimate just how effectively sexual intimacy acts as one of nature's most powerful stress relievers. During those moments of closeness, your body releases a potent combination of hormones, dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin that work together to soothe anxiety, calm your nervous system, and create a profound sense of emotional balance. They are your body's built-in mood stabilizers, melting away tension and wrapping you in a feeling of safety and connection. When intimacy vanishes from your life, you lose this natural, beautiful mechanism for coping. Stress begins to accumulate like sediment in a river until it chokes the flow of your life. Your sleep becomes restless, small problems start to feel like insurmountable mountains, and a low-grade anxiety can manifest as irritability or even physical symptoms like tension headaches and muscle pain. Without that physical release, you're left without one of your most potent tools for maintaining mental and emotional resilience. One of the most difficult and unspoken consequences of losing intimacy is its direct impact on the relationship itself. As the physical connection wanes and emotional distance often follows, it happens subtly, The private jokes, the playful teasing, the spontaneous moments of joy, they can be replaced by a quiet, monotonous routine. Communication can falter, not because the love is gone, but because you've stopped speaking the vital, nonverbal language of touch. Each partner can be left feeling unseen and undesired. Intimacy is the glue that keeps a relationship vibrant and emotionally rich, no matter how many years you've shared. Letting it go doesn't just change things in the bedroom, it can alter the entire dynamic of your life together. And now we have to talk about something a bit delicate, but absolutely crucial. Our bodies, in their infinite wisdom, operate on a very simple principle: use it or lose it. It might feel awkward to admit, but just as a muscle weakens without exercise, our sexual functions can diminish without regular stimulation. For a man, this might mean that achieving an erection becomes more difficult or less reliable. For a woman, it can lead to vaginal dryness and a loss of natural elasticity, making intercourse uncomfortable. These changes don't happen overnight. They creep in until the idea of being intimate starts to feel more like a challenge than a joy. This creates a heartbreaking cycle. The discomfort leads to avoidance, and the avoidance leads to a further decline in function. Your body is trying to tell you something. Maintaining sexual activity, even in gentle forms, encourages blood flow, keeps tissues healthy, and keeps your nervous system responsive. And we're nervous system soothe. But here is the most important truth I can share with you today. It is never, ever too late to reclaim this beautiful and vital part of your life. The journey back to intimacy can begin right now, in this very moment. It starts with open and honest conversation. You have to be brave enough to be vulnerable with your partner. Share your feelings, your fears, and your desires. Create a safe space where you can both speak from the heart about .night, what you've been missing and what you hope to rediscover together. If there are physical challenges, please talk to a doctor. Modern medicine offers wonderful, effective solutions for common issues like dryness or erectile dysfunction that can restore comfort and pleasure to your sex life. There is no shame in seeking help to reclaim your joy. You can start small. The path back to intimacy doesn't have to begin in the bedroom. Let it begin with holding hands while you watch a movie, a long hug in the kitchen, a gentle touch on the back as you pass each other in the hallway. These small acts of physical affection can rekindle the spark and lead you back to a deeper connection. And for those of you who may be single, this journey is about rediscovering yourself. Explore what brings you pleasure, understand your own body, and build a foundation of self-love and confidence. Above all, be patient and curious. Let go of expectations and simply allow yourselves to enjoy the process of reconnecting. Passion and desire don't have an expiration date. They simply lie dormant, waiting for you to decide it's time to awaken them. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about embracing the wisdom and depth of the person you are today. It's about refusing to let outdated stereotypes or unfounded fears write the final chapters of your story. You have the time, the energy, and the heart to give and receive a richness of sensual experience that can transform your life for the better. The most vibrant and fulfilling years of your life are not behind you. They are right here, waiting for you to create them. One tender touch, one honest conversation, and one shared moment of joy at a time. You deserve more joy, more connection, more life, and the time to claim it is now.